Hello and welcome back to the Cash and Commitment podcast with myself, Yinka.
And Veronia.
Hope you guys are all doing well.
So, in today's episode, it's another touchy subject, I would say. And we're going to be answering the question, which I don't know if you are aware of, but we're going to be answering this. Should partners have secret accounts? So,
Dun, dun, dun.
I came across an article and I'm going to read a bit and I want you to maybe react to it or kind of share your thoughts. So
Cool.
the title of the article is "We've hidden thousands from our husbands in secret bank accounts."
Lol. Here I was thinking a small little, a few hundred maybe, thousands. Wow.
No, exactly. So I have a savings account that my husband knows nothing about. It has around £7,000 in it, admits 32-year-old Rebecca. This sordid secret started around 7 years ago when we were buying our first flat together. We were discussing what money we had to bring to the table, and I just didn't mention it. Apparently, Rebecca isn't alone either. A survey this year, and this was in 2023, found that almost 40% of those in couples, have money their partners don't know about. Rebecca continues, it wasn't really an active decision. Impulsively, I just decided to omit one of my accounts, not a lie, but not quite the truth. We weren't married at the time, and I'd stashed away savings from working since the age of 16. Most of his deposit money came from family, and I was well aware that if our relationship did crash and burn, he had parents who could easily bail him out. My family just aren't in the same financial position. Realistically, I know I should probably just discover this old account and come clean. I genuinely can't imagine us ever breaking up. If we did get divorced, I'm sure a court would find out anyway. And yet, it's still reassuring to know that it's there. So, babe, do you think that partners should have secret accounts? What's your reaction first based on that article that I just read? 7 grand.
Yeah, it's a chunk of money. Did she say that it's just kind of like sitting there dormant and she's not really putting money into it?
I don't think she's putting money into it.
Okay.
I think she just had the account before they got married.
Okay, cool. All right. So, should you have a secret account? If you're married, no, you shouldn't have a secret account. I don't think, anyway.
Okay, so going back to the article, then obviously she had money. She's got 7 grand in another account. Do you think that she should be bringing that up now
Yeah,
that she's married?
yeah. It's a big chunk of money that is just there,
Yeah.
not literally not doing anything.
I mean, it could. I don't know. It could be.
From what she said, it's not doing anything. It's just happy to know that it's there if it's needed. She should definitely tell him. If she wants to come completely clean and say that she's known about this money for ages, then fair dues. But if she just wants to bring up to him, oh yeah, I found this account that has 7K in it, he'd be over the moon. And I'd be.
Well, then that would be a lie because she didn't find it. She's always known.
Yeah, you're right. But if she wants to tell, she can tell him. I don't think it's something that should feel like a secret that you need to hide. I don't think, personally, I wouldn't be too upset about it.
Really? If I told you, oh, by the way, babe, I've got an account that has 7 grand in it.
If it came out like that, then I'd be like a bit, yeah, that's mad. But if you turned the tone of it and maybe a few words to make it seem like, oh yeah, I found this account, then you'd be all right. To be totally honest with you. But yeah, you shouldn't be hiding secret accounts from your husband or wife. It's setting yourself up for distrust in your relationship. I don't think it's a good idea to do, even if you do want that extra level of protection if all things go wrong. But even still, when you have a divorce anyway, do they not just split the assets?
Usually, I'm pretty sure you'd have to declare all the finances and then the court will decide, which is kind of what she was saying in this article, where she's like, oh, I know the courts will probably decide if we did divorce. But I don't know. I think maybe there are some exceptional circumstances when it comes to having an account. Like, for example, when it comes to things like financial abuse, I would say that's definitely a different circumstance when it comes to having an account. If, for example, you may, for whatever reason, need to separate from that partner.
What do you mean by financial abuse?
If so, if, for example, let's say that you're the breadwinner
Hmm.
and you are basically handling the finances where I have no say in anything whatsoever. You control all the money. I cannot say anything about it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think circumstances like that, that's maybe a bit different. But also, obviously, at that point, you're going to need to seek help anyway.
Hmm.
But I think in genuine marriages, I personally wouldn't have a secret account because I don't know, it just kind of feels like then there's something that I'm hiding from you.
Hmm.
And my question would be, if I wanted to have a secret account, why is that? Is that because I don't trust you
Mm.
for whatever reason? And if that's the case, should I even be married to you in the first place?
Yeah. But some people will just say it's being pragmatic.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know what percentage it is, but a lot of marriages are ending divorce. So
100%. Yeah.
they just want to have that buffer there.
Yeah. And I think that's something that maybe people are starting to do a lot more of
Hmm.
as well because of the growing amount of divorces. But I think from my perspective, I don't know. I think maybe it's probably more from a faith perspective where it's like, because we're becoming one flesh, I just can't see myself having another account which you don't know about.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I think it also depends on what your beliefs are with money when you do get married. We'll talk about married because we're married,
Mm.
but your beliefs on when you do get married, like, because we believe that it doesn't matter who's earning the money or who's bringing the money in, it's our money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if I'm taking or storing some money away from our money into a secret account, then if anything, that is a form of financial abuse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't agree with it. As you said, there are some caveats to that, but on the general scale of things, I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a breeding ground for distrust, and it can become the catalyst or even the starting ember to what you're trying to avoid or what you're trying to create that safety blanket for. So these things can actually start that spiral into divorce and things of that nature
Mm.
because you're putting so much energy into that. You're almost manifesting it.
Yeah. But you know what's weird though is that I had to unlearn that.
Mm.
So before we got married, and I think maybe this happens to quite a few, maybe some, maybe not all, no, definitely not all, but some African households where some families have kept their finances very separate, where the husband earns, the wife earns, no one really knows how much they're earning, and things are maybe kept secret. You know, they have their own projects, they have their own stuff, they have
Mhm.
their own stuff going on in Africa as well. So I kind of grew up with the mindset of, oh, I would need to have my own account because you don't know what your husband could do.
Mm.
So I remember having to really unlearn that. And again, that's why I think we would definitely say premarital counseling is very helpful, especially if you're getting married. Because I always thought, I think growing up, that, oh, yeah, no, people just had their own accounts and that, you know, maybe your husband didn't really know how much you had in that account. Have you got any thoughts on that?
I think it's quite common.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a special case or anything. I think it is very common, especially in today's day and age, but also in the past as well.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to bring your money together and make decisions bringing your money together.
I agree.
Because if you come as an individual anyway and then come together as one in a marriage, then your individual habits of spending money or relationship with money will have to be exposed, and your partner has to see what that relationship is with money, and you guys need to kind of gel in how you're going to move forward with that. So it becomes a lot of a learning experience, and you need to spend intentional time trying to work that out together.
Mm.
I think for us, especially in the early stages, we did disagree with how we wanted to join our finances,
Mm.
but also how we are actually going to divvy up that finances to pay for different things or have our own personal money. How much does that look like, etc. So it's different for different people, but I do think it's a lot more beneficial to bring your own finances together, because you're bringing two incomes together and you're able to do more because there's more money to actually use for specific things. So if you're looking to build goals or work towards financial goals together, then you're going to reach them a lot quicker than if you're trying to do it by yourself because you're scared of getting divorced.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Hmm.
Did you ever think about having a secret account before we got married?
Secret account?
Yes.
Nah. Nah.
Whether we joined or had separate finances, did you ever think about having like an account that I wouldn't know about?
No, I don't think so. I don't think intentionally anyway.
Mm.
Like there may have been an account where I had an account, but you don't know about it, maybe because I don't use it. But actively having another account that has money going into it on a regular basis and it's growing and you don't know about. No, I think it's silly personally. I like to see the money grow month by month. If you have it in one account, you're seeing even bigger growth.
Mm.
Yeah, and if you have it in a savings account, you're having more interest on that larger amount of money compared to if it's just an individual person's salary. So no, not for me. How about you?
Um, no, not at the point we were getting married. If it was a few years before that, probably.
Mm,
Just because of basically how I'd envision money and marriage to be. I think I probably would have thought, oh, am I supposed to have like, an account that's like a just in case fund? But not, yeah, not at the point where we were like getting married, because also at that point, I was learning more about personal finance in general and also joining finances, and then thinking about actually if we're becoming one, that should also include finances. So at that point, no, I don't think so. And I think maybe part of the reason is because we had had the discussions about finances before we even got married. We both knew what we were bringing to the table. We both knew we were going to join our finances anyway. So I think for me, I wouldn't see the point of having a secret account. And, God forbid if something happened to us as well, I still don't think I would need that secret account,
mm,
because I am at the point where even if we weren't together, I would still know how to manage my money. I would still know how to build an income.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah. A bit of self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
I think it's important as well because if you go back to the financial abuse that you're talking about in terms of one person being the breadwinner, there's been stories, especially of that breadwinner maybe passing away
Mm-hmm.
and the other person's left and they had no idea about the finances
Exactly.
or the mortgage. Then now they have all of that responsibility falling on them. So that moves on to the fact that you need to be dealing with finances together.
Yeah.
You both need to know what your ingoings is, what your outgoings are, and how to actually manage it. Because if worse comes to worse and one of you does pass away, then the financial burden usually moves on to the partner. So
Yeah.
it's important that that's dealt with appropriately.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why I have confidence that I wouldn't even need a secret account, because we both know exactly what is going on with our finances.
Hmm.
Anyway, so even if God forbid something happened to you, I would know what to do. Okay, so going back to the article, there is someone who says they think it's important to have financial secrecy in a relationship.
Hmm.
They add, it's important to have conversations about money, financial goals, debt, and savings, not only early on, but throughout the relationship. However, it doesn't mean your partner has to know the exact numbers and how much you top it up monthly. It allows for some independence and security, but also surprise in the relationship. Imagine you are saving for a big gift for him or yourself, and he can see you topping that savings account up. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a cop out.
Yeah, I'm just like, does that mean that you have to have a secret account? Like,
It's a cop out.
if, for example, I'm saving up for your birthday present, I'm not gonna go and open this secret account that I'm now putting money into it. Like, but we have both separate spending accounts, but we also allocate the same amount of money into those spending accounts. So I will just save a bit of money in my spending account if I want it to be a secret.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessary to have a full-on secret account.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cop out. If you want to buy a big gift for your partner, you save that money up from your personal thing.
Yeah.
Or you make the budget in a way that it reflects that, but also that just means just forward planning.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's creating sinking funds or whatever it is. It's a cop out. You have independence in your marriage anyway. You have your own personal money to do whatever you want with.
I mean, some people may not. Some people may decide to join everything, which is definitely fair enough. That's not something that we do.
But it's something you can do.
It's something that you can do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and the fact that she doesn't want her partner knowing the exact amount she's making or whatever that was, then that's crazy.
That she's topping up.
Like you should know exactly how much money is coming in.
No, but you're saying this, but actually a lot of people do not.
But you should though, because if something things happen, people get sick, people unexpectedly die, people go missing, things happen. All right, and then you're telling me if something terrible happens, there is no money backed up for anything. There is no way you know how to sort out the bills or anything because you're not sure if you're going to have enough because you don't know how much money you actually have together or whether your partner has a secret account somewhere else. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. But I know firsthand people who do not know what their other half earns. And I think
that's wild.
But again, like this is a norm. Maybe it's not a norm, but I know of people, especially from African households, where they do not know how much the spouse is earning.
It's true.
Or how much they have in their account.
It's true.
At all.
It's very true. A bit sad as well, but
true. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't think you need a secret account in order for you to buy your spouse's birthday present.
No.
Or your partner's birthday present. I don't agree with that. There are ways you can do it. Even if you've joined finances, there are ways that you can do it without the person knowing.
There's so many ways.
Yeah.
You can ask someone, a friend or sibling, to actually pay for it, and then you'd give them the money at a later date. You can do so many different things, and it's just a bit of a cop out. I mean, look, people will do whatever they want to do. So if people want to have a secret saving account, they're going to have a secret saving account. If they don't, they're not going to have a secret saving account. But realistically, you just got to look at your reasons behind this, and
I think that's the thing.
And say and know whether it's really valid.
Yeah.
Or not.
Because I would say if you feel like you need to have a secret account for whatever reason, then it's probably not even a money issue. There is something that's probably going on in your marriage where maybe you do not trust that partner. And then that means that needs to be resolved, or you might need to seek counseling or something, because the secret account then just becomes a symptom.
Yeah.
Like if I had a secret account, it would probably be because for whatever reason I don't trust you. And then the question is, why don't I trust you?
Yeah. You have to shift the focus to what the actual issue is. But coming from a compassionate side now, I think we do have to be sensitive to the topic, because
of course
that issue of financial abuse can still definitely happen. So like there's been stories. I know you listen to Mr. Ramsey on his podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the spouses have got their own business and keep taking money from the the family's accounts and putting it into the business, just saying that he hasn't done the tax returns or whatever, and then all of a sudden he says, "Oh yeah, we've got no more money left."
Exactly.
So there are situations where you have to offer some form of compassion.
Yeah, no, which is why we said at the beginning there are probably going to be circumstances
Yeah.
where potentially you may need an account for your safety,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to things like financial abuse.
Yeah.
So definitely, like 100%, because there will be other issues going on. But I think if, for example, you're happily married,
Yeah.
you know, then there's the question on do you actually need the account?
Yeah. I mean, you're planning for a rainy day, in essence.
Yeah.
And yes, logically, it makes sense to plan for a rainy day. But if we're being real, we all know that marriage has its ups and downs. That's why the vows say for richer, for poorer,
Mm-hmm.
for in sickness and in health,
Mm-hmm.
good times and bad times, whatever. Don't quote me on that. But that's why it says that, because marriage, like life, it's going to have ups, it's going to have downs. And planning for those rainy days, you can do that together.
Yeah.
Like you can literally, instead of having a personal separate account, you can have an emergency fund for life emergencies, where your joint money comes together and you allocate a certain amount to go into that joint account every month, or until you hit a certain amount of money that will pay for example, 6 months of expenses. Yeah. So you can do these things together rather than doing it separately. And the amount that you're able to build together is always going to be greater than what you can do individually anyway.
Mm.
So I think for most people, almost all people, I'd say, having a secret account is less beneficial than just trying to work together.
In our opinion.
In our opinion, yes.
But
everything's opinionated.
Yeah, everything's opinionated. And I think, again, it goes back to the importance of doing that work before you get married as well. If you do not trust the person to know your ins and outs of your finances, your financial position, you have to question whether you should be marrying them.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because when you get married, you are literally becoming one flesh.
Yeah, it's true.
So if you have reservations, then the question is, do you actually think you should be marrying them?
Very
But
true.
that's just my opinion. Again.
Very, very true.
But I think, yeah, if you have those conversations before you get married, you know, hopefully you're able to do things like premarital counseling. Hopefully that should give you the confidence that you won't necessarily need a secret account because you're both on the same page.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people or a lot of couples, some people end up having the secret account because they didn't have those conversations pre-marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So when they then get into marriage, now there's issues, and now they then think, oh, I now need to have my own account.
Yeah. I mean, premarital is so important.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, it helps to address those financial things that should be spoken about, but also other things as well. I mean, you're never going to be fully prepared for marriage.
No, of course not.
But if you're having important conversations beforehand, it should be able to help you make a decision on actually going through with the marriage and have some confidence in that marriage that we'll be all right.
Yeah.
If push comes to shove.
Yeah. And if you always thought that you needed the secret account, that's maybe something that you bring into premarital counseling.
Yeah.
And you figure out why. Because, yeah, I had the idea years before that that's what people did. Like it was a normal thing until I had to unlearn that, yeah, that's probably not the best thing for my marriage. So, yeah.
Proper cash and commitment episode.
I know.
Lived up to the name.
I know. We're doing some techie subjects.
Yeah.
Which in terms of our responses may be a bit unconventional, especially like during this time.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a lot of it comes from not only our experience, but also our faith as well. So, yeah, it's an important topic to talk about.
Well, that's all for today, folks.
Yes, we're going to leave it there. If you did like this video, if you're watching on YouTube, please do like and subscribe to the channel. If you are listening on any of the audio what do you call it?
Platforms.
Audio platforms, that's it, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do feel free to leave us a review as well. And of course, if you ever need more support when it comes to managing your money, whether you're an individual or you're in a couple, we also offer one-on-one coaching. So you can either be coached by myself, or you can also do couples coaching where Yinka will also be involved as well. You can book a call to find out more about coaching from there in the description. Perfect. Okay, we're going to leave it there. We hope you have an amazing week, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.